We got a little distortion in the horizontal direction banding on our monitor. I wonder if they're getting the same thing.
Stand by, Buzz. I'll let you know.
This unscheduled live TV broadcast from Apollo 11 starts with a typical blurry view of the Earth. But around 1.5 minutes in, something unique happens as it disappears behind a cabin window. This really is a departure from the norm for NASA, who had avoided showing live images of the Earth with any frame of reference since their disastrous first TV broadcast from Apollo 8. And it gets a lot more interesting as the camera zooms out to include the command module observation window before panning right to pick up and zoom in on the Earth again as it appears through the adjacent rendezvous window. So what's going on? The NASA TV studio wants the audience to believe this is a view of the Earth during passive thermal control, commonly referred to as the spit roast, for the way it attempts to distribute heat from the sun evenly over the surface of the spacecraft during its 3-day trips to and from the moon. Returning to the live TV broadcast, we can see it takes almost 33 seconds from the time the Earth disappears out of view behind the right side of cabin window 5 until it reappears in the bottom left of cabin window 4. This photo of the command module gives a better idea of what we are looking at and where the cameraman was standing at the time. The angle between these 2 points relative to the central axis is 20 degrees. So if it takes 33 seconds to move 20 degrees, the spacecraft is rotating at over 6 times per hour and more than twice the rate during PTC mode. At that rate, by the time the camera pans back to cabin window 5 in the broadcast, the spacecraft would have rotated a further 36 degrees, and the sun should be streaming in to fill the cabin, but the light is barely enough to illuminate the opening. And by the end of transmission, the spacecraft would have rotated almost 90 degrees, exposing 3 windows to direct sunlight. Instead, the cabin is in complete darkness. Compare it to this, a later TV broadcast from the same mission using the same camera. Not only is it full of light, it's full of life, because it's almost impossible to avoid getting your mates on camera as you pan around something the size of a caravan. The reason is, the command module in this live TV broadcast is not Apollo 11, and it's definitely not transmitting from outer space. Watch what happens to the wires after the mysterious hand lets go. See how they swing back and forth before coming to rest in the lap of whoever that is? That's what you expect loose wires to do back here on Earth.
And the big yellow arrow that points toward the opening.
Is that all?
It's unfortunate that the photo lens doesn't work. Show the lens at the closer.
However, this is only half the story. To really understand what is going on, we need to go back 15 minutes before this broadcast to a previous attempt at transmission. It starts with a wobbly view of the Earth. Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin wants to know if the people back on Earth have the same distortion.
We got a little distortion in the horizontal direction banding on our monitor. I wonder if they're getting the same thing.
Stand by, Buzz. I'll let you know.
Let's break briefly to understand the situation. The crew is using a modified TV camera to record live footage, which is transmitted by Apollo 11 on the same signal used for all other communication. These signals are picked up at one of 3 receiving stations, in this case Goldstone, California, where a complex system has to convert the video part before it can be broadcast on network TV. The crew has to rely on a small black and white monitor connected to their camera to see exactly what they are transmitting, because they can't watch TV from Earth in a spacecraft travelling at over 3,000 miles per hour. Let's continue.
Goldstone M&O.
Okay, the crew is complaining of some horizontal banding on their monitor. Do y'all see that on the picture?
Stand by. Houston Capcom Goldstone.
Go ahead.
Okay, our TV people confirm they see this horizontal band.
Okay. 11 Houston, the Goldstone TV people also see the banding when same time y'all do, over.
Okay, I understand. It's not our monitor. It must be the transmitter of the system.
All right, I guess so, Buzz. We'll have them look into it and see if they can suggest anything.
If Aldrin can see horizontal banding on the small monitor attached to the camera, the problem is the signal from the camera. At this point, the only reason for him to conclude there's a fault with the transmitter or the system is if he's watching the same broadcast as the guys on the ground, which means Apollo 11 is receiving TV broadcasts from Earth. And that's only possible if the spacecraft maintains a geosynchronous orbit above the planet, like a communications satellite. The question is, why do they need a TV, and what are they watching?
Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds.